So the big question here is the Superblast actually worth that much more than the Novablast? So shoe comparison I've got for you guys today, we've got a battle of the blast. So we got the new Novablast 4 up against probably one of the most highly rated shoes that's ever been put out on the market, and that is the ASICS Superblast. So we've got the Daily Trainer up against the Super Trainer. So we're going to talk about their key features, we're going to talk about the similarities because there is a few, and we're going to talk about the differences. And hopefully from that, you're going to be able to find out which shoe is right for you. And now's a great time, if you haven't done so already and you want to support this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Right, so quick specs there up on your screen. As you can see there, Superblast, it's the lighter package, it's got more stack, however, it's a lot more expensive. So in Australia here, it's $90 more expensive than the Nova. Is it actually worth $90 more? We'll talk about that as we go through the review. So in those differences, we're in the weight. I think the weight is certainly noticeable in both these shoes. And in the stack height, if you wear these shoes at the same time, you can definitely notice that the Superblast does sit higher off the ground than the Novablast. Right, so in our uppers here, these shoes side by side actually look pretty similar together, but the materials that they're using in the upper, very different. We've got a jacquard woven is what they call in the Superblast. So it's quite thin and it's very light feeling. And they've just got what they call an engineered woven in the Nova 4. And it's a thicker material. It's quite flexible. Breathability I think is about the same in both, but this one is a very comfortable upper. Probably a little bit more comfortable than the Superblast in the upper. And in the padding, the Nova 4 has more padding around the heel collar, so it's a bit more of a plush fit, a little bit more slimmed down in the Superblast, hence the lighter package. Heel counters, they've both got pretty structured heel counters, they're about the same, both got these cool little pull tabs. And you'll notice in the Nova 4 here, we've got a bit of a heel flare, and that is a great addition to this brand new model. So no heel flare in this. However, lockdowns in both these shoes are excellent. The tongues are both gusseted, the tongues are both thin, and they're pretty much identical. There's some slight, like minor changes, but pretty much the tongues are the exact same in this shoe. The lacing system and the laces again are exactly the same. So the fit. So for me, the Nova 4 is true to size. However, in the Superblast, I think it's a big fit or a long fit, and I did come down half a size. Now, when I put these two shoes side by side, they pretty much look identical. So this one for me is an 8.5 in the US, and this one is an 8 in the US. However, they're pretty much the same size. And in our midsoles here, we've both got two really high stack shoes, so both over that 40mm mark. So 41.5 in the Nova, 45.5 in the Superblast. And as I said before, when you wear them side by side, yeah, the Superblast does feel a touch higher than the Novablast, so it is a little bit noticeable. Now, foams that they're using, this is where the Superblast comes into a world of its own. So it's using ASICS Super Foam, the FF Blast Turbo. So that's the same foam that you use in their premium race day shoes. And then also at the bottom layer there, as you can see, they just use their FF Blast Plus foam. So that is similar to the foam that they're using in the Nova. So the bottom layer is the similar version. However, it's the Eco version. So FF Blast Plus Eco. Now that foam is the one that they use in the Kayano and in the Nimbus. And in our geometries, so both have 4-foot rockers, as you can see there. However, the Novablast is slightly the more rocketed shoe, and you can certainly feel that in the ride. It's a bit more flatter in the Superblast. And in the rigidity of the shoes, both are quite rigid shoes, so they don't have plates, but compared to other shoes on the market, flexibility, it's quite rigid. There is a bit of movement in the twist for the Nova. In the Superblast, it's about the same stiffness as the Nova. However, it's a lot more stiffer when you try to do the twist test on the Superblast. Right, so in our outsoles here, two pretty similar looking tread patterns there. So you can see where they've got the outsole rubber or the AHA rubber. It's in the same high wearing places. So differences between these shoes, they use the AHA Plus on the Superblast, and it just says AHA for the Nova 4. Now, Big differences here is where the rubber is not. So where you've got the exposed foam. So you've got these really deep grooves and cutouts in the midsole foam in the Nova that really add to the riding and add to that bounce of the shoe. And in the Superblast, they don't have that. They've just got these holes where you can actually see through where the FF Turbo is. And it's actually pretty prone to catching little stones and seeds. And you don't have that problem with the rocks of the seeds in the Nova. Right, now into the rides and performance. So Nova 4, yeah, it's soft, however not soft and squishy like the 1080. It feels a lot more firm than that. However, it's a dense type softness. Dense type softness. However, it's still got that Nova feel. So it's still got the trampoline effect, and you've still got some nice bounce through this ride. So it's a fun, bouncy ride. And they don't achieve that through the foam. They actually achieve it, I think, through the cutouts here of what they've done to the bottom of the outsole, just to let that outsole sink in and then slowly bounce up. But very fun, bouncy ride. It's a very safe ride, very stable. And in the Superblast, the ride is very, very similar to the Nova 4. However, the main difference is this shoe is going to feel a little bit firmer. And it feels more responsive, so it's easy to pick up the pace. So you don't bounce so much in this shoe, so there's not so much cushion, so not so much sink in this shoe. There is a little bit of sink and then it's poppy. So yeah, a lot more poppy and responsive, a lot more cushioned and bouncy in the Nova. However, same DNA here, you can definitely feel it, same DNA. Same sort of ride. These rides are more similar than what you may think. So, and on that, that's why I think the Nova is more suited to your easy runs, for your workouts and so forth. Definitely the Nova is sorted. If you want to race, obviously Superblast can get up to your race pace, that nice lightweight and that responsive foam. Now for your long runs, so both these shoes are excellent long run shoes. It depends what you want to do with your long run. So if you just want to do it as a nice easy pace, time on legs, certainly the Novablast. But if you've got some pickups or some hard efforts in your long run, then I'd be going for the Superblast. However, again, there isn't that much difference between these two shoes. Right, just to wrap these two shoes up, the big question here is the Superblast actually worth that much more than the Novablast? Say $90. I'm actually not that sure, and I don't think so. For me, I think either the Superblast is overpriced or the Nova is underpriced. What do you guys think? Do you think the Super is too expensive or the Nova is too cheap? Now, on that, if you've been hesitating on getting the Superblast, so it's either too expensive or you pretty much, it's so rare to get your hands on a pair of these because they just fly out the door. So if you think it's too expensive or you just can't get your hands on it, then the Novablast is your answer. So you could say it's the budget version of the Superblast. However, to be honest, I don't think there is that much difference. If you want that Superblast feeling, you want a good long run shoe, you want a great solid daily trainer, same ride. They've pretty much got the same ride. It just doesn't have, it's just not as responsive. So yeah, for me, save your bucks and go the Nova if you can't get your hands on one of these. So they've both got their place. However, if I could just buy one and I'm using it for the same purposes as what I use it now, I'm going the Nova. So anyway, guys, that's it from me. Hope you liked that one. Any questions about these two shoes, make sure you drop them in the comments below. I'm actually interested to see what you thought about my comparison between these two, because I know there is a huge following of the Superblast. So I actually do think that this shoe was the best shoe of 2023, except for the price. But performance-wise, this shoe is the one to beat. Now with the Nova, I think the Nova is just as good. It's way cheaper. So keen to hear your thoughts on that. Anyway, guys, that's it from me. Thank you again for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.